Namaste everyone, this is Shayna Hiller from Build Your Personal Yoga Business. And today I'd like to talk about how to effectively teach and cue the breath when teaching yoga. This is actually a question I received from one of you amazing subscribers, so I'd like to address this question because I'm sure that you're not the only one who has this question. So we all teach different styles of yoga, and ultimately the breath, pranayama, was invented or established first. The breath came first, the asanas and the posture came second. And to be able to master the art of teaching breathing to your students is vital and valuable, not only in being an excellent teacher, but allowing your students to fully receive the maximum benefits of yoga, which you know are sometimes not necessarily available if we're not tapped into the breath. So depending on the style of yoga you teach, cueing the breath and sharing the breath are going to vary. So I'll speak more so for hatha yoga, for vinyasa yoga, for beginner yoga, and intermediate as well. So a few things. So we all know the ujjayi breath. I don't know about you, but sometimes I've been teaching a class of like 50 people and I'm sharing the ujjayi breath. I'm teaching the ujjayi breath the best way I know how, and I literally feel like I'm by myself in the room. I can't hear anyone. I'm like, are you guys alive, right? They're flowing, but there's no connection to the breath. Other times I'll be teaching yoga and I don't even have to say anything, and it's a beautiful ocean of breath, synchronized and in the flow, right? So try not to get obsessed with it being a certain way, because it's just different. Just like every time you teach a yoga class, there's a little bit of a different in energy. It can be anything from the moon, the planets, to just the energy of the people in the room that day. Who knows? You know, it's just different every time. But definitely emphasize the breath to the degree that makes the most sense to you without foregoing it. I've been to plenty of classes where there's no mention of the breath whatsoever, and thankfully I know how to breathe when I'm doing yoga, so I don't really care. But for beginner yogis or people who tend to hold their breath or stifle or start going into hyperventilation mode, the negligence of teaching breath can absolutely do more harm than good. So if you're just beginning to teach the breath, what I would suggest is, if anything, stop the class, have everybody look at you, and demonstrate how to do ujjayi breath. You can do the fogging up of the window, right? Okay, everybody, put your hand in front of your face. Imagine that your hand is a window. You're fogging up the window. Now do the same thing with your mouth closed. Create that audible breath. And just do a few demonstrations like that. I have people stand in Tadasana sometimes in mountain pose doing nothing but ujjayi breath for a few rounds, right? So another thing is, some people can overdo it, you know, especially in the beginning. People that make the breath audible, and then people go all out and it's like intense Darth Vader breath. I say less is more actually when it comes to ujjayi breath. My teacher used to say that eventually, as you progress in your practice, the ujjayi breath, that steady breath in and out of your nose, throat, should be just loud enough for you to hear, for you, the breather, to hear, and not necessarily for your neighbors. But beginning, right, beginner yogis or beginner vinyasa yogis, definitely emphasize it, because the breath will take you out of your mind into your body, into the moment, and that's what creates that subtle metronome. Again, don't get discouraged if people aren't getting it, because think back to your own practice. I know for myself, I didn't really care about the breath. It's like I heard it in the beginning, but it just kind of went in one ear and out the other, and I was more concerned with the asana, with the postures. And then, you know, as I continued practicing, something clicked, and it continued clicking and evolving until, wow, I'm doing ujjayi breath when I'm in traffic, when I'm walking down the street, when I'm waiting in line, when I'm in an argument, when I'm cleaning the floor. Just kidding, I don't clean the floor. But you see what I'm saying? It's something that evolves for your students. So pay close attention to it, but don't worry too much if they're not getting it, right? Other types of breathing, I definitely encourage you to teach. If you're teaching in a cooler climate, some Kapalabhati to get the system heated in the beginning of class, breath of fire, right? Toward the end of class, some alternate nostril breathing to cool down the central nervous system and rebalance the right and left hemispheres of the brain. Do not discount the power of breathing. Even if you're teaching a power yoga class, you can definitely weave it in, integrate it to the beginning, the end of class. Make subtle references to the breath as you're teaching, but don't worry about being too demanding of the breath, because it's going to change and evolve and shift. And it's more about putting it out there, making sure it's emphasized. Do not leave it out. Do not disregard it. It is so important. And at the same time, don't take it personally, right? It's like, are they hearing me? Are they not hearing me? Sometimes it's just, it is what it is, and you're doing the best you can, and just know that you're always doing the best you can. So acknowledge yourself for all you do, the gifts of yoga that you're sharing with the world, and learn more about how to maximize your potential as a yoga teacher in our free ebook. It's in the link below this video. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. There's lots more yummy yoga related info coming your way. And as usual, if there's any info that you want me to cover specifically, leave a comment below and send me a message, and we'll cover a specific topic in a future video. I look forward to serving you more as you continue to build your yoga business and share this gift of yoga with the world, because our world needs it. So thank you. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing you soon. Namaste.